Bob Kennedy told me a story that just sticks right here in the front of my head. He said on November 22nd, 1963, that terrible day, his mother picked him up from school early and brought him back home. They lived in McLean, Virginia, at a house that they called Hickory Hill. So the Kennedys were very, very close to the CIA director and his wife, John McCone. McCone had died of breast cancer 6 months earlier. And the Kennedys were worried about Director McCone. They were worried that he was going to harm himself. And so they invited him to dinner every single night, 7 days a week. And after dinner, he and Bobby Kennedy Sr. would go for a swim. So when Bob Jr. and his mom get to the house, he said he got out of the car. His dad and Director McCone were standing in the driveway. And when he walked past them, he heard his father say, "Tell me your people didn't do this." And McCone said, "I don't know who did it." He didn't say, "Of course my people didn't do it." He said, "I don't know who did it." And I think that with what we know now, I think it's safe to assume that there were elements of the CIA. It was not an official, formal CIA policy, XV, kill the president. I think that there were elements of the CIA that were probably involved. And I'll add one other thing. When I was stationed in Pakistan, the oldest of the old timers that I worked with was this legendary officer. To tell you the truth, when I got there, I didn't get his last name. So I only called him Gene. "Hi, John, this is Gene. Gene, this is John." I said, "Hi, Gene, nice to know you. Good to work with you." And I was there for weeks until somebody said, I asked a question and somebody said, "Ask Gately." I said, "Who's Gately?" "Gene." I said, "Gene is Gene Gately?" He said, "Yeah, who'd you think he was?" I said, "The commander of the Bay of Pigs operation is working for me." And he said, "Yeah." So we all lived in the same guest house. So I went up to him and I said, "Gene, you're Gene Gately? You commanded the Bay of Pigs?" And he says to me, "Fucking Kennedy, we could have won that thing." And that was the very first time I ever saw that flash of anger. And I thought, oh, I understand 1963.